All right, good morning, guys, and welcome to our junior church lesson today. I hope you're excited to learn a little bit more about the subject of creation. This is our last week that we're going to be looking at the subject of creation. But before we do, we're going to do something a little bit different today. First, we're going to sing a song, and then we're going to hear what Pastor Steve has to say about creation. So please sing along with us as we play our song.
Reading my B-I-B-L-E, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how J-E-S-U-S came down to us and gave his best. Without a doubt the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. I'm reading my B-I-B-L-E, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how J-E-S-U-S came down to us and gave his best. Without a doubt the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door.
Boys and girls, welcome to the Big Idea video today. I'm your good friend Pastor Steve, and of course you know this is Mr. Giraffe, and we're here to learn more about this amazing element of the month, creation. Now, creation is simply defined as everything God made. So when you look out there and you see trees, you see cows, you see giraffes, you're seeing things that God made. So today we're actually going to learn about a big idea that says God has put us in charge of his creation. Ooh, wow, that seems like a big responsibility, doesn't it? Well, our good buddy Mr. Giraffe here had a situation in his life not too long ago whenever he was left in charge of something. Let's see how that went.
So okay now, you sheep, you be good. Mr. Giraffe is going to take himself a little bitty nap, okay? All right now, be good. Hey, what? Hey, where'd your sheep, where y'all at? Come here, Where'd your sheep go? Where are you guys at? Come on back up here now. Where are you at? Oh my goodness, I can't believe the sheep have gone away. Where are they? Where could they be? I don't know where they've gone. Oh, thank goodness. Where did you sheep run off to now? You know better than to be taking off and going out there across that open plains. Now listen, seriously, I've had a really, really long day, and I am just beat. So you sheepies, you be good, and you stay right here while Mr. Giraffe takes himself a nap, okay? Hey, whoa, hey, no, sheep, stop that fighting. Why are y'all fighting each other? Stop. Now you sheep, you are supposed to be acting right. And you're being so bad. Don't you know I'm trying to get myself a nap? Maybe I guess I better stay awake if I'm going to take care of you sheep in the right way. All right now, you sheep. You have been getting in all kinds of trouble. And maybe I'm not doing such a great job watching over you, but for real, I'm trying to watch my show now. So you kids be good, okay? Whoa, hey, quit that fighting! Quit that fighting, you sheep, you crazy little sheep. What are y'all doing? Y'all supposed to be being good. You up here fighting with tools. Where'd you even get tools to begin with? Who had them wrenches?
Whoa, buddy. Looked like you had quite an experience there over those sheep. Kids, do you think it looked like Mr. Giraffe did a very good job being in charge of the sheep? No, of course not. What was one of the things that kept happening with Mr. Giraffe that made him do a poor job? Yes, he kept falling asleep on the job, and those naughty little lambs were just going crazy. Well, you know what? As we talked earlier, our big idea says that God placed us in charge of His creation. That means we have a big job to do. If we've been left in charge of this world, then we need to be good stewards of what God has entrusted to us. A steward is someone who has been entrusted with something that doesn't belong to them, but they're supposed to treat that thing like it does belong to them. Mr. Giraffe was not being a good steward. Sorry, pal. But you and I, we can be good stewards of what God has left us in charge of. Now, you may never end up as a shepherd over some sheep, but God has placed you in charge of His creation. And the first place that you can get to work being in charge and handling that the right way is with your own life. God has given you unique talents and abilities, and we can use those talents for His glory. Now, kids, today's going to be a really cool lesson about how we can be good stewards of the creation God has made. So let's get out our Bibles together right now and dig in.
All right, good job singing, guys. Thank you, Pastor Steve, for your illustration with Mr. Giraffe. He sure was struggling on the job, wasn't he? He kept falling asleep and his sheep were doing all sorts of crazy things. Well, before we get into our last topic on creation, I do want to review with you our verse for the month. It's found in Colossians chapter 1, verse 16, and it says this: "For by Him all things were created that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, through Him and for Him." Right? we've been talking all month about how creation points back to God, and everything that is in the world points back to God as the creator. Well, this week, what we're going to be looking at is God gave us dominion over everything. He put us in charge of the world. So what we're going to do, if you have your Bibles, we're in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, and we're going to look and see what God said in Genesis about creation and about how man was supposed to oversee everything. Then God said, "Let us make man in our own image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in His own image. In the image of God He created him, male and female. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." And God said, "See, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. to you it shall be for food. So this week, right, let's do a little review. The past couple weeks we've talked about how God spoke everything into existence. And last week we talked about how God made everything of its own kind, right? Every animal was given its own specific kind. Like they have certain characteristics that they only have, right? And then they have some that they share with other ones. But this week we're looking at something that's very, very important to God. We were put in charge over everything in the earth, right? We are at the top of the chain. He wants us to have dominion or be in charge over all the animals that inhabit the earth. Now, when you're put in charge of something, that's a big responsibility. You have to make sure that you do it to the best of your capability. I don't know how many of you have pets. When I was younger, I always begged and begged and begged and begged and begged my mom, please just let me get a dog. I'll do anything. I'll take care of it. And then when she finally agreed and let me get the dog, then I had responsibility, right? I was put in charge of the dog. So when you're put in charge of the dog, right, you have to make sure that it's fed. You have to make sure that it has water, that it goes to the bathroom. You got to make sure that it has all these different things. You're put in charge of it. Well, the same thing is true here. This is exactly what God's saying. He wants us to take care of the earth, right? And to have dominion or power or charge over the animals that are in the earth, right? So it's important for all of us to do our part, right? One way we can take care of the earth is if you see trash on the ground, pick it up, throw it away, right? It doesn't matter if you put it there or not. Pick up the trash and put it in the garbage can, right? We need to keep God's creation as clean as we can. Remember, we were put in charge of it. And it's just like, some of you may say yes to this, but when you have your bedroom, you don't want somebody to come into your bedroom when it's a wreck, right? So you keep it clean. Well, the same thing is true with the earth. God expects us to keep it clean. He expects us to take care of it. He expects us to have control and dominion over it. And I thought something was so cool. Isn't it so cool that we were created in the image of God and we have His likeness? That means that we replicate or we look like God, right? God loves us so much that He saved us for one of the last days because He wanted to put so much emphasis on you. Right? We were created in His likeness and we were His favorite creation. Why were we His favorite creation? Because we can talk, right? And we can think and we can have a relationship with Him and we can do the things that He's commanded us to do. But you have to be a Christian to do those things. But God created you in His likeness. So whenever somebody tells you that you're ugly or if they say something like that, say, well, I was created in the image of God. So if you're calling me ugly, you must be calling God ugly, right? So be encouraged by that today. You were created in the image of God. But back to our point, you are created to have dominion over the fowls of the earth, right? To have dominion over the animals, right? And to be in charge of the animals. So I want to encourage you today as we close out this month on creation, after we looked at our verse, by all things were made for Him, through Him, and for Him, right? Remember that as you go throughout your daily life. Take care of what God has given you, right? Pastor Steve said something about we are all stewards of the earth, right? That word stewards means that we have been put in charge of something to take care of it. And we have been put in charge to take care of the earth. So I want to encourage you today, as you go throughout this week, look around and see what you can do to help take care of your responsibility that God has given you. I hope you guys have a great week. Tune in next week and we will continue.